friends, welcome to the next episode of DotVVM Minutes. Today I would like to show you how to report progress from long-running operations in your web applications. It's quite a common scenario that you want the user, for example, to upload some images or enter some data, and then the data processing takes quite a long time, and you would like to inform the user what's the progress, like how many % of this operation is complete, or if everything is working well, or if there are any problems. So I will have a short demo of how you can do this in SignalR. Let's look at the application first. So it's called Batch Image Resizer, and it's very simple. It's just a demo. So I have a file upload control here, which allows me to select some images. So let's select, I don't know, like 40 images or something like that. So now it's uploading to the temporary storage, which is in the temp directory of the web app. And you can select what sizes you would prefer. So you basically select the height of the image, and the width will be calculated automatically, so the aspect ratio would still be the same. So let's select these three biggest, because there is where I expect this operation to take the most of the time. So let's click on Start Processing, and now on this screen you see I have a progress bar, and now the images are being resized on the server, and using SignalR, the server is sending me notifications about the current progress. So now I'm done, and I can download all the images in a zip file. So if you open the zip file, you see image 1, 800 pixels, 1000 pixels, 1200 pixels. Yeah, so for each image, I have three sizes of that image. Let's start with the default HTML page. It's quite simple. There is a form, and it's visible when the current step is 0, because the screen has two stages. First stage is when I'm selecting and configuring the images. The second step is when I'm watching the progress of the operation. Yeah, so here we have the file upload control. It's quite simple. Here I have repeater with all the checkboxes of the requested heights of the images, which I can select, and the start processing button, which calls this start processing method. And in the other step, I'm using this background operation progress custom component, and then there is just the button which allows me to download the result. Of course, the most interesting thing is in this background operation progress, and you can see I am setting data context to the progress property. And this progress property is a object which has several properties. So it has some operation ID, some description, which says which image is being processed right now, whether the operation is completed, whether there are some errors, and what's the percentage of the operation. So this is a simple model which represents the current state of the operation. And this component is also quite simple. I'm using Bootstrap Progress, which adds nice animations when the percentage change. The progress bar will like go slowly to the new target value. So basically what I'm doing is I'm coloring the background color for success if it's completed without errors, or to danger if it's with errors, and then I'm just reporting the width to this value. I noticed that this also should be this area attribute. I forgot to add it here, so let's do it like this. Yeah, so it would be accessible, because this value now should also report to the screen readers what is the current value. So this is CSS width and styles, which tells the progress what the percentage should be displayed, and this is for the accessibility software or devices. So this is the progress bar, and the only thing I need right now is to be able to update this progress object in the viewmodel whenever the state is changing, and that's what I will be doing via SignalR. I will basically send the new current versions of this progress object to the page, and the UI will respond to these changes. So basically, using SignalR, I will just report the new version of this progress object, which has like these 4 or 5 properties. Operation ID description, whether it's completed or whether it's some error, and the percentage. And of course, if you want to report the progress in a different way, you can fine-tune this object to fit your needs. So if there are some multiple stages, you want to select show checkboxes whether the stage is completed or not, feel free to adjust this object. It's my custom model, which I'm just sending using SignalR, and here I'm using it in the page. So how the rest of the view model looks like. So here is the current step, which is just integer 0 or 1. Here is the uploaded files collection. It's a standard way of how the file upload component works. So you give it this collection and it will be uploading the files and store the IDs of the uploaded files in this collection. Requested heights is the list of available heights, and available heights is the list of the the options for the height of the image. Requested heights is what the user actually selected. I'm basically pointing all checkboxes via the checked items to this collection. So the checkboxes which are checked will make sure that their value is in that collection, and if you uncheck the checkbox, it will remove its own value from this collection. So this collection will represent always the checkboxes which are currently checked. And result archive URL is the URL of the result where we will be downloading the archive. It will be set at the end. The start processing method then just switches the current step to 1. And I have created a utility class called background operation factory, which is responsible for running these operations. So this lambda will be executed on a background thread. So like this function will return immediately, the start function. So the code will continue here, result archive URL, and it will give it the operation ID. It returns the first version of the progress object. So I'm setting the progress to the beginning state. So percentage is 0. There's no description and the initial state of the object, but it has assigned the operation ID, and I can use this to pick up the results of the operation. Of course, it will not be ready until the operation is processed, but that's the UID button will appear only when the operation is processed, because before that this zip file would not be like present. And this class will make sure that this operation runs on a background thread, and it also gives it this operation context, which you can use to report the state changes. So on this operation context, you can call, let's look at the signature. It's background operation context. So you can get the operation ID, and you can call methods report progress, report error, or report success. So while the operation is being performed, you can call report progress, how many items processed, how many items was in total. It will calculate the percentage for you, because you need to handle like special cases like when the items total is 0, so you want to avoid division by 0. So this should be covered in this method, and you will put the description what is currently being done. And if the task ends, then you can say report error if there was some problem, or report success, which means that it was successfully completed. This resize images async method gets the operation context, and let's look how the resizing actually works. So at the beginning, I will report progress that I'm just starting the operation. Then I will gather all files. It's another method because I can upload either the images or the zip files. So if I upload a zip file, it will like unpack it for me and add the images to the queue to be processed. So that's where I'll gather the files. Then I will prepare the output archive. So I will create zip archive into some write-only stream. And then I'm going through all the files. I'm reporting that I have just started processing this file out of this number of files. yeah, processing image and name of the image. And for all sizes, I will be doing this. So process file, you can see for each height the user selected, I will be like cloning the image, resizing it for this, and writing it to the output stream in the zip file. Yeah. I'm using the image sharp library, which is actually a very nice library for working with images. It's amazing, amazing one. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm just reporting the progress after each file is processed, and then it should be here. Yeah, after before each file is processed, and at the end, if there are any errors, I will report error with the list of files that couldn't be processed. If everything went perfectly well, I will just report success, all images processed. So that's how I'm working with that. So I have created this utility class which allows to implement these background operations in a very nice way. You just give it a lambda and you have the operation context where you can report the status. So how is this implemented? I have this iBackground operation factory, which has only the start method. It gets the action, the lambda, which should be processed with the context, and it returns background operation progress. And the implementation looks like this. I have created like the SignalR background operation factory, which is implementation, and basically I'm getting this hub context. I've created a SignalR background operations hub. And basically when I start, I will create a new background operation context with a new GUID, and then I will just run the task. If there is any uncaught error in that lambda, I will report an error, and basically that's it. And the only thing I'm doing here is that I'm creating SignalR background operation context, which gets this hub context. And the functions report progress, report error, report success, they are only creating a new version of this progress object. And here in this report progress core method, I'm taking all the clients which are assigned in a group operation ID, and to them I'm sending or calling method report progress and passing the progress object as an argument. So on the client, when the page will connect to the SignalR hub, it has to subscribe to this operation ID group with the same name as the operation ID. And the second thing is that we need to implement catch the report progress function, and whenever we do it, we have to take the progress and apply the changes in the view model. I'm doing this in this component background operation progress. Here is the JS module background operation, and it's from here. So basically it's a simple module which will get the operation ID from the current data context. It will connect to the SignalR, and whenever it gets this report progress call, it will get this argument and it will apply that to the data context of the element on which the control is attached. Yeah, so it will call patch state on the observable, and it will expand this description % is completed is error. I could fine tune the serialization, so this would be the Pascal case. So this letters, beginning letters would be uppercase, so then I would be able just to pass this progress object. On the other hand, the representation which is going on through the wire on the SignalR may not be the same as you have it in the view model, so you may want to have this explicitly, because here you can have some other properties which you would be, for example, calculating here. Yeah, so this is just a sample. And when the connection is started, after it started, I will call the subscribe method with the operation ID. So I will subscribe to the current, to the right operation ID. And let's look at the hub. Here is the SignalR hub. Here is the subscribe method, so I will pass it the operation ID and it will add me to this group with this operation ID. I'm making sure it's the lowercase because I don't know how is the default serialization of GUID, if it represents the upper or lowercase. I don't want to risk it would be different on more places, so I'm always using two lowercase. Maybe I'm just too paranoid. There is also unsubscribe method. I'm not calling that, but if you need, after the task is finished, it would be cleaner way to unsubscribe, because if then you would be in too many groups if you would be using this process on your page repeatedly. So that's how it's implemented. The last piece of this puzzle is to just register this image resizing service and register this iBackground operation factory that it is implemented by SignalR background operation factory. It can be a singleton because it's just a factory which will create new operation context for every operation that is performed. And here, if you want to upload larger files, I have to configure this form options and increase the limit. Otherwise, there would be a problem that I would not be able to upload so many images at the same time. Yeah. So that's the last piece of the puzzle. Let's try it once again and look in the DevTools, where I can select that I want to see only the WebSockets on the Network tab. So this you can use to see what is transferred through the SignalR wire. So I will upload the images once again. And here I can start the processing, and you can see what we see here, the messages. You can see I'm sending the new progress for each photo. So that's how it works. And the last message is the arguments is description, operation ID is completed true, is error false. So you can use this DevTools. If you filter the WebSockets, you can use this to monitor what messages are going through the SignalR connection. You can see also it's now pinging to keep this connection alive. I hope this demo was useful to you. If you want to see the source code, the link is in the description on the video down there. And I also plan to make another episode of doing the same thing via the new Messenger component we added in DotVVM Business Pack, our commercial package of components. So if you have Business Pack, you can look at the Business Pack messaging package, which allows you to do the same thing without writing any JavaScript. So if you don't like the JS modules and you are not fancy with copy-pasting this JavaScript code to your project, you can use Business Pack Messenger, where changing this progress object would be just one simple line of code, because we have the messaging connection control and messaging handler, which basically say if some message gets called from the server, just do this static command. So you can patch your viewmodel using that. So in one of the next episodes, I will be showing this demo. So stay tuned and see you at the next episode of DotVVM Minutes.